Hey guys, a couple of students had asked questions about simplifying radicals. That they said that maybe you didn't get a chance to really get to it last year, or possibly you're just a little rusty with it. So I'm just going to make a quick video doing a couple examples. I think it's something you'll pick up pretty quick. It would look something like this. You'd end up with the square root of maybe 72 or something like that, and they say please simplify this radical, or it might say put this into simplest radical form, something along those lines. So the idea here is, not to just put this in your calculator and get some decimal, 8 point whatever or whatever it's going to be. They want you to just simplify it using the concept of perfect squares. So you basically want to take your 72 and try to break it down into smaller pieces. Think about how 72 breaks down and try to find a number that's a perfect square within that process. So for instance, if you want to start out something simple, you could say, oh, well, this is going to be the square root of, 2 times 36, right? 72 is just 2 times 36. It's the same exact thing. And one of your principles that you can use for simplifying for radicals is you can actually break these apart. So these are the exact same thing. If you're not sure or you don't really believe it or whatever, you could put it in a calculator and see you're going to get the same value either way. So one of the properties for simplifying is that you can break them apart. So look for factors that are perfect squares. If you don't happen to pick one that's a perfect square, that's okay. We can work off of that. But in this case, 36 actually is a perfect square. The square root of 36 is just 6. So this becomes the square root of 2 times 6. But the normal way we write it is we usually put the non-radical in front so it doesn't look confusing. Sometimes if you write these too close together, somebody might think this is the square root of 26 or 26. So I separated it pretty drastically to make that obvious, but this is how you would write the final answer. This is the simplest radical form for this original radical. Okay? So let's say you're doing this, and you don't realize to use 2 and 36. Let's say you decide to use, I don't know, let's say you decide 4 and 18. For whatever reason, that's the way you saw it, right? 4 times 18 is 72, so you didn't do anything wrong. And this would become square root of 4 times square root of 18. This would become 2 times square root of 18, because square root of 4 is 2, and you feel pretty good about it. The problem is, in order to have it totally simplified, every single perfect square needs to come out of there. And in the number 18, that can actually be broken down even further. This would become 2 times 18 is 9 times 2. This becomes 2 square roots of 9 times square root of 2 if I break it apart. This becomes 2 times 3 times square root of 2. And 2 times 3, of course, is 6 square root of 2. And we get the same thing we got before. So it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, as long as you break it down legitimately, right? These numbers should still multiply to the original number. And you just keep going until you've gotten as far as you can. I can't break down 2, right? That's not a perfect square. Suppose you did, what else could we do? What about 9 times 8? Right? 9 times 8. All right, that seems reasonable. Square root of 9 times square root of 8. Square root of 9, of course, is 3. Square roots of 8. But wait a second. 8 can be broken down further. That's square root of 4 times 2. So square root of 4 times square root of 2, which is 3 times 2 times square root of 2, which guess what is 6 square roots of 2. Okay? So the ultimate goal would be to get the biggest perfect square right off the bat. But sometimes it's hard. If the numbers get kind of out of hand or you're just not sure how they factor, just break it down however you see it and just go from there. But you should end up with at least one perfect square, and if you don't, if you get to a part where there's no more perfect squares, then just stop. For instance, if the original problem looked like this, there's nothing else you can do. I can't break that down. That is the final answer. Okay? But if it's something that can be broken down, then you're supposed to break it down, and that's the idea. Okay, so try the ones on the practice sheet. Give them a shot. If you have any trouble, post your questions on Edmodo, and we'll be able to help you out. Okay? Thanks. See ya.